Rachel Barber. A life stolen by obsession. Rachel Barber was 16 years old when she disappeared, but in the eyes of those who loved her, she was still very much a child. She lived in Melbourne, Australia, in a world filled with promise, discipline, and creativity. Rachel was a gifted cellist, deeply committed to her music, and known for her kindness and quiet confidence. She attended Methodist Ladies College, one of Melbourne's most prestigious schools, where her talent and dedication set her apart. Her life, by all outward appearances, was carefully structured and full of potential. But on the evening of March 1st, 1999, that life was stolen in a way that would shock Australia and leave an entire nation grappling with an unsettling question. How could obsession hide in plain sight for so long? That evening, Rachel left her family home to attend a choir rehearsal. It was an ordinary routine, the kind her parents had seen countless times before. She never arrived. When Rachel failed to return home, her family immediately sensed something was wrong. This was not a rebellious teenager skipping plans. Rachel was dependable, focused, and deeply connected to her family. As hours passed with no word, panic set in. By the next morning, police were involved, and a missing person investigation was underway. At first, there was no sign of violence. No witnesses, no obvious suspects. Rachel had seemingly vanished into thin air. Melbourne media quickly picked up the story, and her face appeared across television screens and newspapers. A beautiful, talented young girl gone without a trace captured public attention instantly. Volunteers searched parks, streets, and public transport routes. Police explored the possibility of an abduction by a stranger. But as days passed, the absence of evidence only deepened the mystery. Behind the scenes, however, the truth was far darker than anyone could have imagined. Rachel Barber had not been taken by a faceless criminal lurking in the shadows. She had been lured by someone she knew, someone who admired her, someone who, over time, had allowed admiration to twist into something dangerous and destructive. That person was Caroline Reed Robertson. Caroline was a woman in her late 20s, a former actress and drama teacher who lived near Rachel's family. She had once been involved with Rachel's father through community theater, which gave her access to the Barber household and to Rachel herself. To outsiders, Caroline appeared articulate, intelligent, and creative. But beneath that surface lay deep insecurity, self-loathing, and a fractured sense of identity. Caroline despised her own appearance. She struggled with intense feelings of inadequacy and believed she had failed in life. Where Caroline saw emptiness in herself, she saw perfection in Rachel. Rachel's youth, talent, beauty, and supportive family represented everything Caroline felt she was not. Over time, admiration turned into fixation. Fixation turned into obsession. And obsession turned into a terrifying desire not just to be like Rachel, but to become her. This was not a crime of impulse. It was a crime of planning. Caroline carefully constructed a lie to bring Rachel to her home. She told Rachel she could earn $500 by posing for photographs as part of a research project. It was an offer that sounded harmless, even flattering. Rachel had no reason to be suspicious. Caroline was a familiar face, someone connected to her family and community. Trust was easily given. On the day Rachel disappeared, she went to Caroline's house willingly. What happened next was an act of calculated violence. Caroline strangled Rachel inside her home. There was no struggle that anyone heard, no cries for help. Rachel's life ended quietly, brutally, and completely at the hands of someone who claimed to admire her. After killing Rachel, Caroline transported her body to her father's rural property and buried her in a shallow grave. She then returned to her daily life, carrying with her a secret that would eventually unravel under the weight of her own psychological instability. As the search for Rachel intensified, Caroline inserted herself into the investigation. She spoke to police. She expressed concern. She participated in discussions about Rachel's disappearance. All the while, she was attempting something even more disturbing. She was trying to erase Rachel Barber and replace her. When police later searched Caroline's home, what they discovered shocked even seasoned investigators. They found handwritten notes detailing how Caroline planned to take over Rachel's identity. There were documents forged in Rachel's name, notes describing how Rachel dressed, how she spoke, how she moved. Caroline had practiced imitating her. She had studied her mannerisms. She had planned to step into Rachel's life, as if she could simply assume it once Rachel was gone. This was not merely jealousy. It was identity theft in its most literal and horrifying form. Psychologists later testified that Caroline suffered from severe narcissistic personality traits combined with profound identity disturbance. She did not want Rachel's success. She wanted Rachel's existence. As days turned into weeks, cracks began to appear in Caroline's facade. Her behavior became erratic. She spoke obsessively about Rachel. She inserted herself into conversations in ways that felt unnatural. Police began to sense that something was wrong. The breakthrough came when investigators decided to take a closer look at Caroline's background and her connection to the Barber family. Under questioning, her story began to unravel. Contradictions emerged. Her emotional responses did not align with those of a concerned acquaintance. Eventually, confronted with mounting inconsistencies, Caroline confessed. She led police to the location of Rachel's body. The discovery of Rachel Barber's remains confirmed the worst fears of her family and the nation. The case shifted instantly from a missing person investigation to a murder inquiry. Public shock turned into collective grief and outrage. In 2000, Caroline Reed Robertson stood trial for murder. The courtroom heard chilling details of her obsession, her planning, and her belief that she could simply become Rachel. Expert witnesses describe her deep psychological dysfunction, emphasizing that while she understood the difference between right and wrong, she was driven by an overwhelming need to escape her own identity. The jury found Caroline guilty of murder. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. For Rachel's family, no sentence could ever equate to justice. Rachel was gone forever. Her future, her music, her life had been erased at 16 years old. Her mother, Elizabeth Southall, emerged as a powerful voice in the aftermath of the trial. She dedicated herself to educating young people and families about the hidden dangers that can exist not only among strangers, but among acquaintances and trusted figures. In 2015, after serving 15 years, Caroline Reed Robertson was released on parole. The decision reignited public anger and pain. Many questioned how someone capable of such calculated violence could ever be deemed safe to re-enter society. Authorities confirmed that Caroline would live under strict conditions and was believed to be using a different identity. Rachel Barber's story did not fade with time. In 2009, the case inspired the film I Am You, starring Guy Pearce and Miranda Otto. The film explored the psychological depth of Caroline's obsession and the devastating impact on the Barber family. While dramatized, it introduced a new generation to a case that remains one of Australia's most haunting true crime stories. Rachel is remembered not for the way she died, but for the life she lived. A young woman of talent, discipline, and warmth, whose kindness was weaponized against her by someone unable to face their own reflection. This case stands as a stark reminder that some of the most dangerous obsessions are not loud or obvious. They grow quietly. They hide behind familiarity. And when they surface, they can destroy lives in ways that no one sees coming. Rachel Barber trusted someone she knew. That trust cost her everything.